So that was the Zone of Tech concept of the new Apple AR VR headset. Now, I know this might seem like something that Apple isn't really interested in, however, we've had a ton of reports. Yeah, as you can see, a ton of reports that Apple is working on their own AR VR headset. Now, I've done a video in the past on the Apple glasses, but this video is so much more interesting than that. You'll see. So here's everything to know about Apple's new secret project and how this could be the biggest product that Apple has ever released. So yeah, get all those snacks ready, all that popcorn, all those nuts, because this is going to be a really interesting and exciting video. Sit back, relax, and let's take a look. So there's no secret that Apple has been very interested in AR. Not VR, but AR. Now, if you don't know the difference between AR and VR, VR stands for virtual reality, so you're basically transported, so to say, in a completely different world. Some examples of VR headsets would be the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, whereas AR stands for augmented reality, and it's just overlays over our real world, so to say. So the Pokemon Go, the Pokemon Go app would be a good example, and the Microsoft's HoloLens as an AR headset example. And Apple didn't seem to care most about VR, mainly just AR. So with iOS 11, we got support for ARKit, which allowed developers to create some amazing AR apps for iOS, significantly more realistic than the ones that were not using ARKit in terms of tracking. And the iPhone 10 as well as the iPhone 8, for example, they actually come with AR designed cameras, according to Apple. And iOS 12, which is coming out next week, by the way, the beta at least, it would be focused on AR even more. And Apple has applied for quite a number of patents over the years on an AR headset, which was, actually the topic of my previous video, that Apple Glasses video. But yeah, lots of patents and a keen interest in AR. This would basically mean that Apple is working on something interesting, some new AR tech, which is basically true. So Tim Cook has even talked about this openly in a number of interviews, that Apple is very interested in AR, but that a true AR headset is not coming, unfortunately, anytime soon. Tim Cook has also stated that, I quote, "I see AR as being profound. AR has the ability to amplify human performance instead of isolating humans. So I'm a huge believer in AR. We put a lot of energy on AR. We're moving very fast." And then in another interview, he stated that even though he cannot really reveal what Apple is working on in terms of AR, they won't be releasing anything until they get it right. That's what he said. So yeah, Apple's definitely working on something revolutionary, something unique in terms of AR, a pair of AR glasses. But in terms of what's actually going to happen with these, in the past few weeks, we've had a ton of reports from inside sources on Apple's secret project, and this is what they all said. Okay, so apparently this project is actually codenamed T288, and apparently this would not be just a simple pair of glasses. Instead, it would be a slightly thicker, a slightly heavier and larger headset that would feature not just AR, but also VR support, so both in the same headset. So in this case, the display would be both transparent and also opaque. Now, we've seen this technology before on panels that can be opaque, but that can also turn transparent so that you can see what's happening behind them. These would work perfectly for Apple's headset. And then also, Apple plans on making this a truly wireless headset, so 0 wires attached, which would be amazing, especially for a VR headset, because right now, every single major VR headset that you connect to your PC or Mac, mostly PC, it has to be connected via a direct cable connection. So in most cases, there's way more than just one cable. The only option, when it comes to walking freely around, is the Gear VR, for which you actually need the smartphones. So yeah, when it comes to true VR headsets that get connected to PCs, all of them unfortunately features lots of cables. But apparently Apple's headset would actually only be the display, and then the true brains behind it would be in a separate box. So according to this source, this box would have Apple's own a processor, and it would actually be based on a 5nm process, which is just insane. So for example, the Apple 11 chip that's inside the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10, that's based on a 10nm process, which by itself is close to a miracle when it comes to technological achievements. So yeah, 5nm would be pretty much the limit as to what we can achieve today with silicon. And performance-wise, the processor is actually comparable, the Apple 11 chip, to the highest-end Intel Kaby Lake mobile processor. So essentially, the highest-end laptop processor that Intel makes is very close in performance to the Apple 11 chip that's inside your iPhone 10 or an iPhone 8. I even did a performance test between my iPhone 8 and my 2017 15-inch MacBook Pro, and well, the results were very surprising. Do watch this video out, you won't regret it. The results are very surprising. So yeah, this would be an unreleased Apple processor, the Apple A14 most likely, that's going to be included in these Apple pair of glasses. I won't call them Apple glasses, I know, Apple VR AR headset or something. Yeah, not sure about the name yet. Right, so you have the headset, and then you have the box, which contains all the brains, so essentially the processor, and maybe even some fans to cool that down. But yeah, how are they actually going to communicate? Because Apple says that this is going to be a truly wireless headset. Well, it would communicate via Wi-Fi, but it's not just any Wi-Fi standard. It would actually be 802.11a Wi-Fi, which hasn't even been released yet. So this is still in development, and it would support speeds of up to 40 gigabits per second at a range of between 300 and 500 meters. This is insane, guys. This is insane. This is basically Thunderbolt 3 speeds over Wi-Fi at up to half a kilometer distance, which is crazy. The highest length that you can achieve 40 gigabits per second with Thunderbolt 3 is actually 2 meters. If you get a cable that's longer than 2 meters, you would lose quite a bit of a bandwidth. So this is insane. 40 gigabits per second at up to 500 meters. Just let that sink in. So with this tech, Apple would have no issues beaming data from the box to the headset, which would actually act as a monitor essentially. And if you think about it, this makes the most amount of sense. And that's because with the current battery technology, if you want to have a lot of performance in such a thin and small device that you also want consumers to wear on the street, like glasses for example, well, you cannot really do that. So having all that power in a separate box that you can add, like I said, fans to, and stream everything to those glasses, that would be the perfect scenario, and that's until a new form of battery is developed, most likely something that's graphene based. But wait, there's more. So the main issue right now with AR and VR is that, well, the display resolution is really, really bad. So for example, if you take a look at the Gear VR, it's actually using your smartphone as your display. And the S9, for example, it has a very, very high resolution display, 2960 by 1440, which is even higher than Quad HD. That's probably more than what you have on your laptop. And then the PPI is actually really, really high as well at 570 PPI. However, even with this very high resolution, when you zoom in and you use it as a VR headset, you can basically count the pixels because that's how massive they are. Now, in my Leaks Rumor series for Samsung devices, I keep saying that one of my main requests is for Samsung to add a 4K display on their Galaxy S smartphones. I keep saying this, I kept saying it since I think the S8. But essentially this way, we would be getting almost double the number of pixels and the image would be twice clearer than it currently is. But Apple is planning on doing way, way more than even 4K. So according to the report, Apple is working on adding a freaking 16K display, which would not only be twice, but actually 31 times sharper than the best mobile VR headset today. 31 times clearer. Again, let that sink in as well. So an 8K display for each eye at 60 Hertz. At the moment, there are no 16K monitors on the market, not even to mention something that would be as small as to be included in a pair of glasses. This is insane. Okay, what else? Well, apart from all this, the Apple headset, I'm not sure how this is going to be called yet again, but yeah, this Apple headset might be very tightly integrated with Apple Maps. So this is what those reports were saying, that when you're walking on the street with the Apple glasses, because yeah, Apple's most likely going to design something that people would want to wear in public rather than designing something massive that you would just want to wear indoors. So you would be able to see arrows, indicators basically in the real world as to where you want to go and where you have to go. So yeah, this would be amazing. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about AR in general, and especially the headset that Apple is working on. Would you use such a thing, or would you find it too intrusive, since, you know, this thing would come with cameras, sensors, and wearing this everywhere? Well, you might go, I don't know, it might be a bit intimidating for quite a few. But yeah, Apple's very sensitive about privacy issues even now compared to Google, for example. So we should be okay in terms of that. But yeah, when it comes to the actual release date, most reports are actually pointing towards 2020. I personally don't see this happening in 2020. Maybe 2022, maybe. And that's because the 802.11 AY Wi-Fi standard, that one is supposed to be released in 2019. Usually these things are always delayed, so if that happens, it's probably going to be released in 2020, the Wi-Fi standard. But honestly, the main issue here is obviously the software, optimizing everything, all the sensors to work properly. And then there's the Apple A14 processor, which would need to be developed first, and supporting a 16K display at 60 Hertz while also pumping out good graphics for VR as well. I don't really see this happening in 2020. And there's also the issue with manufacturing a 10-inch or so display at a 16K 10-inch display, which would translate, by the way, if you do the math, to an insane 1762 ppi, which is crazy. But yeah, definitely subscribe and enable notifications for more interesting videos like this one. Hopefully this was interesting. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think about all this, everything that I mentioned before, and also don't forget to enable notifications by tapping on that bell icon so that you get notified as soon as a brand new video comes out. But yeah, this has been pretty much it for now. Feel free to like if you enjoyed it, to let me know. I'm Daniel. I'll see you guys in my next interesting video. I'm really curious to see what Apple does in terms of these glasses. We'll find out in a few years. But so far it's looking really, really exciting. So yeah, looking forward to the future. Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.